Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. Well, last night we shared the pizza recipe with you where I used the homemade baking mix for the crust, and some of you had commented that you couldn't find the recipe. I haven't set up the playlist yet. To be totally honest, I don't know how. So someone smarter than me, probably Cheyenne or Blake, will have to do it for me, but it is there. But I needed to make some new anyways, and so I told those viewers that I would make some more today. Plus I'm going to give you another recipe to use, another recipe to make using this mix. And so the very first ingredient that you're going to need a good sized bowl. So the very first ingredient that you're going to add is 5 cups of flour, just plain AP flour, all-purpose flour, to your bowl. The next thing that you're going to add is 1/4 of a cup of baking powder, not baking soda, but baking powder. And I'm just going to run my fork through there just a little bit, just to get those two incorporated just a little bit before we add our other ingredients. The next thing that we're going to add is 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. Right there. And just get that mixed up in a little bit before you add the last ingredient in. Now, this is where you have a choice. On this last ingredient, I'm going to add 1 cup of shortening. You can add shortening, you can add butter, you can add half shortening, half butter. But if you use butter, you need to store it in the refrigerator because it will go rancid before the mix if you just use shortening. Now I will tell you that I still keep mine in the refrigerator. I just do, and you need to keep it in a container that has a good lid on it. And so I'm going to just add this 1 cup of shortening into this, and then you're just going to blend it together like you were making biscuits or pie crusts or anything that needed to have the fat mixed in with the flour. And we'll keep incorporating it all together until we have it look like little tiny pebbles in the flour. And so I'm just going to get started with this. I'm just going to cut it together, and you can use a mixer if you want to. I'm just going to cut it like this. I have been known to get my hands in there, and I can't promise you that I won't do that today, but right now I'm going to just cut the flour and shortening mixture together. Now this recipe can be used 1 for 1 in the place of the commercial baking mix that this is compared to. So if that recipe for that mix says 1 cup, 1/3 cup, whatever it is, then you just place this out in equal amounts. And this can be used to make the different recipes for the impossible pies. My mom's favorite was the impossible cheeseburger pie. I make the taco pie with it. You can make quiches with it. You can make cobblers, brownies. The next recipe, I'm going to share a recipe with you today for cookies. You can use this for breading. You can use this to make pancakes or waffles, biscuits, coffee cakes, and you saw what we put in it: flour, salt and sugar, shortening, and baking powder, and that was it. Now some may say, well, it's just as easy to mix it up when you go to make a recipe. It's just as easy just to pull those ingredients out of the cabinet and just to add them individually from scratch. And that's true. It is easy, but this is a homemade convenience item for those times when we don't really have a whole lot of time on our hands, but we can pull out the 1 baking mix, put the ingredients with it, and have something in the oven baking for our families in no time at all. And I'm not going to make anybody feel guilty for trying a convenience food, but I will tell you that this will save you some money in the long run, and that's what we're about these days, right? Okay, so you can see that it's starting to get there, and I can run my hands through this and and continue to break up those little pieces of shortening. And it would be the same if you use butter or half butter, half shortening. You're just gonna mix it together. You can see that it kind of resembles when you're putting biscuits together before you add the liquid ingredients to it. And so this will be ready to be poured into your container and ready for you to start making something really yummy. So now we're going to go ahead, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, clean my hands up, and bring in the ingredients that I need to make cookies. Okay guys, as promised, we're going to make a chocolate chip cookie using this baking mix. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cream this butter. I've got softened butter in this bowl, and I'm going to cream it together with sugar and the other ingredients, eggs, or 1 egg anyways. And I'm going to do it this way rather than getting the mixer out because it is so noisy on camera, and I don't want to bother you guys. And so I'm going to do this with my hand. You can see that the butter is good to go, nice and soft. To that, we're going to add 1 cup of packed brown sugar.
And come on.
And I'm just going to get the butter and the sugar creamed together. Try to get these cookies put together and baked before the boys get up from their nap, and Blade home from work. He takes his lunches. He most of the time is working in a rural area, and so we've been working on trying to come up with lunches for him and things for him to snack on, so that he's not tempted to buy a bunch of stuff from the really not the grocery store but convenience stores. And one, you kind of know what you get at the convenience store, and two, the price at the convenience store is absolutely crazy. And so trying to save money. Now the boys aren't in school yet, but these are something that you could throw together and put in your kids' lunch boxes, or if you're homeschool, something that your kids could help you put together, and be lesson on measurements and all of those kind of things, and home economics classes for the older kids. And you see how easy it comes together pretty quickly on when your butter is soft. Now if you had tried to do this, and a lot of you know this because you've cooked and baked for a long time, but if you'd have tried to do this with cold butter, you're going to have problems with it mixing up together and incorporating the right way. But if you have softened butter, you see that the butter and the sugar just cream really good together. The other thing that we need in this recipe is 1 egg, and so I'm going to get that in there and get it mixed in with the ingredients. Now my leavening agents are already in this baking mix that we made. It's got powdered sugar, not powdered sugar, I'm sorry, baking powder. And so we don't have to worry about that getting in there. It's already in there. We've got the egg mixed in here with the sugar and the butter, all mixed together. We need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now you're going to see me do this 4 times because this is a half teaspoon, because my house ate my teaspoon and I can't find it. Common sense would tell you go buy another set. I haven't done that yet, but it's on the list. I'm sure I have another teaspoon in one of the other sets that I've got. It would be weird if all my teaspoons disappeared, but this happens to be my favorite set that I tend to go to the majority of the time. So I'm just going to get the vanilla mixed in with this. And the next thing that we'll add is the baking mix. Alrighty, we're going to add 2 3/4 cup of the baking mix that we just made together. that so that you can see, hopefully, the dough coming together. We're making chocolate chip cookies, so we're going to add in a cup of chocolate chips. Now this recipe also gives you the option of nuts, but since little Howie is going to be eating these as well, we're not going to add nuts to this. But you surely can if you want nuts in your chocolate chip cookies. Okay, our dough is coming together. These cookies take about 8 minutes to bake. But like I said, every oven's different, and you may start checking yours a little earlier if your oven runs hot. And they might take a little longer if your oven doesn't bake as fast. But I'm going to clean this out of the way and get my baking cookie sheets, and we'll be right back. Okay, so the oven, perfect timing. The oven has let us know that it's preheated, and I'm just going to drop these cookies by rounded teaspoons full with my cookie scoop here, and we'll get these in the oven. Now the size of your cookie is up to you. You could use a bigger scoop, but I'm going to use this 1-inch scoop and get these in there. We don't care about making gigantua cookies for little Howie to eat, so we're going to do these 1-inch, and you should be able to get about 12 of these. Now I was a little generous with that one. You should be able to get about 12 of these on a pan. You didn't see that.
They're gonna say I didn't see it. I did see it.
There's that one. I'll go ahead and do this other one.
And put it in the.
Yeah, go ahead. Now with this recipe that I just gave you for these cookies, it looks like we're probably going to get about 3 dozen cookies or so. Which, if your household is like mine, they'll probably go through them pretty quickly. Especially if you're taking them for lunches, or your husbands take them, your kids are taking them, or you know, you're just sneaking them out the door to have a little snack. And like I said, by all means, you can use a bigger scoop and make bigger cookies if you wanted to. Okay, we're going to put these in the oven now. This will make 2 dozen, and when we've got these baked, we'll bring you back and show you the finished product. Okay, guys, we have our last 2 pans in the oven baking off now. I've got 2 dozen out here. One, it kind of fell apart on us a little bit. So the recipe, this particular recipe that I made using that scoop that I use, which is a tablespoon scoop, so you can see the size of cookies that we have here. It made 3.5 dozen cookies. So that's a pretty good turnout for the mix, the amount of ingredients that we put in it. And hopefully you guys will give this a try. Try that baking mix and see if you can't come up with some creative uses for it, from dinner, side dishes, desserts, using it for breading for the meats, all kinds of different things. I hope this helps you guys stretch your budget and have a little bit of fun. We're drying clothes too. Having a little bit of fun working with this baking mix. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. I love you guys, I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household, looking for budget recipes and ways to stretch so that you have enough money and month working together. Till next time, guys, we're gone.